Hey guys, server back here. Hey guys, server back here. Hey guys, server back here, and once again, I'm going to talk about this pitiful mess of a game, Mutant Football 2. So, 20 some odd days ago, I talked about this game on release date and talked about the pitiful state it's in. And it may be worse than it was at launch day right now. They did fix a few things that my buddies and I found. And this is the same footage from earlier. It's lazy. I thought about getting the footage from the stream I just did off of Twitch, but they're lazy with their game, so I'll just be lazy with this little video about their game. So, I mentioned in the first video how there was a trick play that was just completely broken, that you could use unlimited, over and over and over. That's not supposed to happen. You're supposed to be able to use each trick play once per half. Well, this was just off the chain. You could just use it over and over and over. We found that was the major game-breaking glitch, but there was multiple others. There was one that the ball would show up in two different places, which you're about to see here. That one, the ball, they would kick it, and it would show up like on the field or in the end zone for one player, out of the end zone for the other. So the kicking team would just come pick it up in the end zone, be a touchdown. The only thing that's fixed that we found is that trick play. And when I say fixed, they just broke it in a different way. So let's go over just a few of the glitches that I found. And by the way, this game I was super excited about. We all were. I would have pre-ordered it if it was available to pre-order. I would have backed it on Kickstarter, whatever. Like I said in my first video, they were going through, their war. This was coming out of the Ukraine, but they just stole our money. Like, this is refund worthy. This is insulting. This is just one of the most pitiful launches I've ever seen. This game is borderline unplayable and not fun, and way worse than the first one. I don't know what they did for the last few years, but it certainly wasn't work on this game. So let's talk about just a few things that are annoying. The cutscenes where the players, after like every play, they just sit there and yap and they say whatever they say, some corny line. Well, you have to X through it. Annoying. The replays are annoying. You can turn those off, luckily. The announcers are annoying. In fact, they use a lot of the same audio from the previous game. That's so lazy. A lot of the trick plays are the same. It's like no creativity. Let's see. So one of the main issues with this game is trick plays are supposed to be a big deal, right? And they're not for a few reasons. First of all, every offensive and defensive trick play uses the same formation. Okay, so we discovered that. So now unless you want them to know that you're doing a trick play, or it's a good chance they're doing a trick play, you have to pick the same formation every time. So it's really dumb. If you pick a different formation, you know that they're not doing a trick play because it's only, like the one man in the back, and you can spot it super easy. So if you know they're doing a trick play, just run out of bounds, and prevent a grease ball or whatever it may be. You can probably prevent 90% of the trick plays against you. So that's just poor design. One buddy was like, well, that stinks, like it makes it not fun, because they're exploiting it. They're not, like, the guy who discovered it is really into football, so he just noticed that it's the same formation, and it just game breaking a lot of times. And guys will just sit around the ball, not know what to do with it. That's just one random one I just thought of. But the trick play thing, that's a major part of the game, and it makes it to where trick plays just aren't useful. Another reason they're not useful, at least offensively, is everything's a touchdown, pretty much. You can throw a Hail Mary every single time, and 99% of the time they're going to catch it. Interceptions don't seem to be a very common thing on this game. In fact, we've thrown like less than 5, and we've probably played, 8 games. You do not throw interceptions, and once your guy catches it, it's nearly impossible to catch him. And if you do catch him, if your defensive person catches him, it takes like 2 or 3 guys to hit him and tackle him. It's just so poorly designed. So you do not run the ball in this game unless it's a trick play where you run the ball, and it may or may not work. Trick plays are broken. The one that they fixed for me, when I say fixed, it's where you throw the ball supersonic, I think it's called. And I don't even know now because I don't use it, but you throw it, or I don't depend on it. You throw the ball to your QB from your QB, and it was the play that was you could use unlimited. But once you do that, half the time it doesn't work. One time I lost yards, like it showed me catch the ball like 30 yards ahead, and then I lost a yard. My guy like rewinded back. It's incomplete a lot of times. My buddy just now threw like, I think his last 3 or 4 supersonic trick plays didn't work. It's called Super Strike. What I was talking about, where you throw it to the QB. But yeah, my buddy uses supersonic, and it just seems they tweaked it in some way where it made it to where they just don't work. I guess they figured better to not work than work unlimited. So good job, guys. And like I said, offensive trick plays are kind of useless because 99% of the plays you're going to throw it and you're going to catch it, and like probably 80% of the time that catch is going to be a touchdown. And that leads me to this: bribing the ref. It becomes dumb or obsolete. It doesn't matter, because say they bribe, like say you throw a touchdown with a trick play. Okay, you get a touchdown. They had bribed the ref. They call it back. Oh no, I lost my trick play. Who cares? Offensive trick plays don't matter anymore because you just throw Hail Mary the next play, and if it happens to be incomplete, you have 3 more tries to do it. So you get bribed. They call back the play that you got 80 yards on. Boo-hoo. You kill the ref, another 15-yard penalty. Boo-hoo. It's 1st and 50. Who cares? Just throw it up. You're going to catch it. 90% of the time, you're going to make it. The game is broken, man. Like, everything about it is broken. It's not fun. And that leads me to probably the biggest issue right now, and I'm sure they'll try to fix it and break a whole bunch of other things, is the defense doesn't work, okay? The defense does not work. I mentioned you just throw it up and you catch it. Well, you're catching it with 2 defenders, 3, 4. You're surrounded by defenders. You're going to catch the ball. It's dumb. It's like you're magnetized. It doesn't matter what team you are. Everybody's just like, we just played a game and it was like 78-40, and with 3-minute quarters. It's dumb. And with the clock running fast, it does not matter, because you're going to throw the ball, you're going to catch the ball, and it takes very little time to get a touchdown. So it's just touchdown, 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 touchdown. So what I've started to do is just kick onside kicks, because that's the only way to get a turnover. Because like I said, interceptions are very rare. Fumbles without a trick play are have I ever seen one? I don't know that I've ever seen a fumble if it wasn't a grease ball or some trick play. So it's just insulting that they released it in this state. So there's a few things that are broken. Let's see. Mini games, okay? Mini games were really cool. In the previous one, you had the same mini game, and it was like a twin stick shooter, and you get more ammo. You try to like run away from zombies, and whoever killed the most, survived the longest, that kind of thing, won the game. And the result was a resurrection, which is kind of useless, even more useless in this one. But you get a player back, and it might be a quarterback. And just so you know, if you kill all the team's quarterbacks, they lose the game. They have 5, I think. So, you get a resurrection. Whatever. It's a bad design choice, but that's what they chose to do. But at least you had the same mini game. In this one, there's probably 3 or 4 different types of mini games. Okay, and that's neat that there's different ones. But it's a weird design choice, and I think a poor design choice to have different ones, because you're competing in different ways. Some games are harder than others. When you're kicking field goals is way more difficult than the twin stick shooter. So it's not fair, and that's funny, because sometimes I guess it could be funny because it's MFL. The game's so glitchy and buggy. It's like, you got a different trick play. So I don't like that design choice, but that at least is not a glitch. It's a design choice I don't like. Running with the ref. So bribing the ref doesn't matter. Okay. Like I said, because you cannot stop people on defense anyway. But once you bribe the ref, on the last game there was a very slight chance that you could get away. And what I mean is the ref comes and spots the ball, and you can run away from the opposing team trying to kill you. And if you got away, then you could that play you tried to kill the ref. I think you still got penalized for that, but it didn't work, and they'd have to do it again. So that was cool, but the guy runs like he's in molasses or in quicksand, and it's even slower than the last one. So that's broken. There's absolutely no way you can get away with the ref. So that's dumb. Let's see. The ball in two different places is still an issue, and incredibly broken. Sometimes there's two different instances where this happens. Like I said, sometimes when you kick it off and it lands like on the 10-yard line or in the end zone, the other guy can't see it. And it happened just 5 minutes ago. I ran in, got the ball in the end zone, touchdown for me. The ball for him is outside the end zone. Game breaking, unacceptable. That happens. Another issue is sometimes the play will end for one person, and this happens a lot, where you're zoomed into the field, like where the ball or the line of scrimmage was sometimes, and the other guy is running down the field about to score. That happened twice in 2 games ago. In the same game, twice. That happens a lot, actually, where some for one person, the play is done, the other person's got the ball, and he's running a touchdown. Ridiculous. And not only can you not control anybody because the play's over for you, your AI just doesn't work, and he'll just like run in a straight line. Now, that happened one time, and it was so bad that the guy's AI was just running in a straight line, picked up the ball, and then ran a safety for him. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. Audio in this game is pitiful. It's broken. It glitches in and out. Sorry, getting over a cold. But yeah, the audio is pitiful. It glitches in and out. It sounds pitiful, and it's not just for me. That's other buddies have heard that too. Another design choice with the audio is not only are the announcers. Sorry, I muted that time so you don't have to hear me cough. Not only are the announcers annoying, but after the play you'll hear this this very light sound or quiet sound, and I thought it was like somebody calling me from downstairs or something, but no, it's like the announcers from the sidelines in the game talking. That's a design choice. Annoying. I don't like it. You can't catch defenders. Here's another issue. So once you throw it and you catch it, because what I started to do is just throw a Hail Mary pretty much every time, and 90% of the time I would catch it, and they cannot catch you after that. You're gone. Very rarely can they catch you, and like I said, I may have already mentioned this, but you can't tackle them. Like, tackling is ridiculous in this game. Defense is completely broken. It does not work. You are not going to stop the other team. It's very, very rare. So basically, it's how you win this game is you either get the ball last, one of your trick plays happens to work, it glitches in your favor. I mean, it's close to 0% skill involved in winning these games. See, I wrote no creativity, and I'd mentioned that before, but that's really the last thing I want to mention. This is so close to the last one, but worse in nearly every single way. The graphics may be slightly better, but pitiful for today's standards. The fields, a lot of them are like designed pretty much the same. There's no like new hazards on the fields. They could have added so much. They did add dynasty mode and like card systems, and you can make your own team, and that seems to be cool. But the game is so broken that I can't imagine somebody wanting to spend time with this game and try to like complete a dynasty. You know, we bought this for the multiplayer component, and if that would have worked out and we would have liked the game, then I probably would have, at least completed the dynasty. And I do like that they added a platinum. But this will be a rare platinum because the game is such a piece of garbage that you're not going to want to go for it. It's sad that this company released something like this. This is the same company, I believe, that made Battle Tanks on the N64 and made the original Mutant Football. Mutant Football 1 was epic with glitches, but it was great. This is so bad. I reviewed the original Mutant Football, and I probably got an I probably gave it an 8, somewhere around an 8. I would guess. Great game with glitches. Um, this is maybe a 2 on the high end right now. I told my buddies we're in the middle of a tournament right now, and we'll finish this tournament. Um, but after this, one guy said he's already going to delete it. Once this tournament is over, this game for us is over for a while, unless I see progress in patch notes. I'm going to tweet at the developers, but shame on you, developers. Like, this is pitiful. If I could get a refund on this, I would. I think it's terrible that y'all chose to release it in this state, and I think it's pretty ballsy of you to tweet about this game being on sale because it should be free. You shouldn't have it for sale, even. For y'all to put this out in this state and expect people to pay $20 or $30, whatever it is pitiful, and shame on you. One of the worst games I've ever played, and especially probably the worst game I've ever like hyped up and been excited for. So for now.